Good morning. I'm Patty Hunt, and I'm the Associate Director at the Oklahoma City University Law Library. And my co-presenter is Sylvia Host. She's our computer services. And we're going to talk about Web in the Box, which is called the virtual classroom. And LEXIS has customized it somewhat by adding links to LEXIS. Is anybody using it right now? Okay. It has a lot of advantages. We thought that LexisNexis offers it, quote, free to the law schools if you're already getting LEXIS. Professors can create, edit themselves, or they can do it with assistance. One of our professors, we just gave her the booklet, and she did it all by herself. All we did was link her course page to her biographical page. The other professor, we did a lot more work. She provided the substance, and we provided the form. It uses forms, and the professor or whoever in the school is using it doesn't really need any knowledge of HTML, although that is helpful because if you do have the knowledge, you can type everything in, or you can save it or transfer from something else, and you can have all the tags, so you can underline and bold and italicize and change the colors and all the other things that you can do. We're using the WCB web server. So as they make changes, right now they're using version 3, but they were going to come out with their changes, their improvements on the server in June 1st, but now it's sort of slipped to July 1st. One of the benefits of having it is that the professors can work from their office over the network, or they can use AOL or something like that as long as it's AOL 4. We have web pages, and every semester or so we print out the biographical pages and give them to the professors to make corrections or additions or deletions. And we also gave them each individualized letter that talked about the advantages of using Web in a Box, the virtual classroom, and we gave them pages printed out that other professors had done, what their colleagues were doing. And if they taught torts, we gave them a page that dealt with torts. And we tried to pick a professor that did a good page and that also had a reputation in the legal community. Also, you can add links to any other sites that you're interested in. You can upload material too. We also gave them some sites to law journal articles in which professors talked about their experiences using computers and teaching. We wanted to gain a little bit of credibility there. Some of the possible content is announcements, discussion lists. Their discussion list is a web-based discussion list, and that was one of the reasons we went to it, is we FTP all our things to the university server, and some of these things that we couldn't set up ourselves and control ourselves. Also email addresses of the students, links to sites, and they have quizzes and exercises, which they're trying to make more secure now. You can put past exams on, post student papers, PowerPoint presentations, and you can update your syllabi at any time. This is a listing of the courses, and right now it seems to be on a first-come, first-listed basis. That's one of the improvements that they're going to make. Under the course listing, there's going to be a box with drop-down so that you can pick your particular school, and then it'll give you a listing of the courses that are alphabetical. So that will be a good improvement. if you're having yours hosted on their server, then as they make these enhancements for version 4, they're going to appear automatically with your material. This is one of there's 5 designs that a person can choose from, and this is one of the 5 designs with those icons. One source that we gave them to look at was the Juris page. It has a lot of nice information, and it also has the information we were interested in, which are the course pages. And these course pages could have been made from the virtual classroom, or they could have been made, using any number of programs. One that I rather liked was the contracts brain power, when the brain's just pulsating. This is the LEXIS page, and you have an opportunity to click on Request a Virtual Classroom ID, and then it pops up with a little email form, and you can email and ask for your ID, and it takes like 24 hours, maybe 48 hours at the most to get your ID in, and then you can start to work. They'll give you a username, which is initially your first name and then your last name, so you get updated characters, and then they'll give you a numerical password, which you can change. And so you put those in, and then you press Build or Edit your virtual classroom. And the first time you create a course, there's only one thing you can select. Create new course, of course, and then you press Submit. And this one I've already created some others, but to create a new one I just press on that, and then it should appear over on the side screen on the screen. And then you hit that, and you'll actually come up with the page. Then you start to record your course information. Because they didn't have an alphabetical approach to listing the courses, I put like OCU first rather than some libraries or something like that, because what we wanted to do was to set up a discussion list for the library system that we're using. We're using a British library system. Actually, the Mormons are using OLive 7 also for their genealogical website, and that's working very well. And I'm afraid that it doesn't work quite as well as the U.S. record. This is one of our professors, and she did this page for Civil Procedure 1 and 2, and there's 6 subdivisions that you can use, and she just used 4 of them. And you can also rename them, like you can rename, this one was named Syllabus instead of Schedule, and we just use the students' email addresses, so we just call it student email addresses to make it more descriptive of what we had.
And here's another design from one of our professors, Nancy Kenderdine. She chose the 6 out of the 7, and she renamed them also, like important policies, the announcement, the assignment, and students, she kept the students. Learning links, she kept the learning links, which you can link to LEXIS, Nexus, or other website. And the help and utility is mostly for the students. And this is the library page that we use just basically for discussions. We make it as a closed discussion group so that it's invitations only. And not just professor can create web pages on Web Course in the Box. It can be create anything that suits your needs. can sign up and leave the information group, just like we changed the class info, and then the students, and then we change it to email addresses for all groups members, discussion lists. Basically, we change it to learning links, we change it to discussion lists, and links to other libraries, and federal announcing web page. And all those graphics, we got them from the web, which is animated GIF, so you can add those icons. You don't have to use the icon that is already come with Web Course in the box to make it more fun and presentable. Okay. When you set up the course, and you can go into the preferences and set up all the steps so that it can create the page. And the step 1 is restrict the access to the course page. If you don't restrict it, anybody from anywhere that can get onto the internet, they can browse your page. And if you do want to restrict it, you just click on that yes, and then people have to get username and password before they can get into your group. And the discussion, quizzes, and everything else is secure, although you set it up as not restricted. And then step 2, you can choose a color. It has some predefined color set, or you can just go through and mix and match your background color, your text color, and everything. And then everything from setting it up is going through that Web Course in the box menu. It's always appear on your right index frame. And the third step is you can select your pre-designed graphics from Web Course in the box, or upload your own graphics, which like the library page, we get the graphics from the web, and then we upload every single items. And then it appears on the top so that you know what kind of graphic you are using. And then step 5, you go into Customize Course homepage. And here's adding your own graphics. And you can pick the class info and then browse to your hard drive or your network drive or your floppies to get the graphics that you want to upload it to the page. So basically it's really easy. Everything is step by step. Going to the forms, going browsing your hard drive, putting the files up. And then after you choose listing your graphics, you can customize your course homepage. And then step 6 is automatic page formatting and hard link of URL. If you turn it on, you type in http:// or ftp:// with a URL, and then that icon or that text can link it out. And this is how you go in to customize your page. And then some icons you don't have to pick, or you only have 4 out of 6 or 3 out of 6. You just pick whichever you want, put in the information and adding the links. And if you want to omit those icons, you just click on that omit. And this is a passworded syllabi page, and we not create them in Web Course in the box. We did them through the law school law library page from the faculty links. And then it is a JavaScript, so students have to put in the username and the password to get in. If they have the password correctly, and then they can go in. So it's a mix and match. You don't have to just use the Web Course in the box. If you know the HTML, you can just link it from the law school or law library page. You can just use it both. It's just a supplement. This is another page. And this is one of the basic categories. And you can set it up so that you want it to be list, or you want it to be a full screen with just icon with border, or icon without the border. Another basic category, this is just icon without the border under the table format. This is the one same, but it's 6 icons instead of just 4.
This is the email addresses for our library list. And there's the home, they have different categories. There's a home page, so people can actually do their own home pages if they want to, or they can link to a home page that they already have. We put in the email addresses. They can put things in student, or in this case, librarian portfolios. And then they're going to add another category with version 4, where the grades from quizzes or tests or anything that you've graded them on would appear in another little folder. And all this is passworded so that a student can only look at his or her own, grade or his or her own portfolio. That you can send messages either to everybody in the whole group, or you can send messages. At this point, you can only pick like one person from the group. You can't just hold down the shift key and pick, like 3 or 4 people. But you can have a guest log in so that if they want to post anonymously, they could. Now we're going to talk about adding students. Probably the easiest way is to add them in the batch mode and use ASCII format, tab delimited, and it gives you the categories. If you can get them from your registrar or from your administrative computing, that'll make your life easier. And you chose that from the menu at the top. You can also add students individually. Just hit submit, add, edit. And then you can put in any kind of number that you want for the student ID, or if they're using like social security numbers, or if they have a student ID number already, you can do that, or you can think of your own scheme. So that then you do submit, and you have to put in their last name and their first name. You don't need a middle initial. You don't even need an email address if you don't want to. They can do if they have a home page already, you can link to that, and then you just do submit. In the directions, they say you can set up a whole course in 15 minutes. I think that's probably a little bit of hyperbole, but you can do it pretty fast. Here, I set up their email addresses, but since the field for their last name is so long, you can I put in what their title was and what library they worked at. But if you have some other categories that you're using for your course, like if you divide them into plaintiffs and defendants, or appellees and appellants, or something, any kind of category, you could put that here. After you have some students in, you can edit it and put in different things, or take people out of the class, just delete them one at a time. Also, you might find that somebody else has used that number, and so you put in that number before, and then it pops up with a student that you never heard of. Don't delete that student and give your own student that number, because that's the database for everybody. You can also delete, but you can't delete like everybody from the class at one time. This one I filled out, and then I made some changes. I added Sylvia's title, and so have a little bit more information in it. You can also do reports. There's 3 kinds of reports that you can do right now. You can do a report by the student's name, a report by their username, and a report by the student ID. I think probably the most useful one is the student name, which is what we do. And then it prints it out nicely for you. And then here's one by the student ID. And it has a nice, what I thought was a pretty nice help frame up at the top. But that's one of the things they are going to change with version 4. They're going to just go to a 2-frame setup. And you can move the bars as much as you want. So you can make any portion bigger or smaller, depending on what works best for you. And we're not actually using the portfolios right now, but you can use them. And then we are here back with our categories. And if you go to Health Utilities, that's where the students can get a choice of what they want to do, like home pages and portfolios.
Here's the basic portfolio that created by Patty. So it's just a very basic one, and then we can get into a little bit more details. Okay. When student clicks on the Help and Utilities, students have their own guide, and student can change their password, and they can create or edit their home page, and also projects. And if they put their projects under the portfolios, and then that will make that projects be accessible from anybody's that in their class, not anybody else outside the web. And they also, like the professor, they can upload files. And then the student is the same thing, going back to the form format. They can choose their background, their text color, their link color, and people visit the links. And then they display the color. And then this is where the student can link and upload their files, or they can link to a URL website. It's basically just like a professor. So if you have already set up the course, it will be really easy to help the student out if they have any kind of questions. And then this is the William Mitchell College of Law. They're using Web Course in the Box, but they didn't set it up as the courses or anything. They set it up for the career services point of view, like doing job posting and stuff like that, which is just the same as us just picking up the discussion list from the library page. And then it's three frames format right now, and anything you can go to, just go to the WCB menu, and if you want to go back and change anything that you have created before, you just go back to whichever you want to go, like going back to preferences or changing the class info, different schedule, announcement. So it's really easy to use. And this is the class info page. Basically, when you created the course, you will want to giving all the information for the course or for the class that you want to tell the students about. And you can just put it into the box or use HTML or just doing a simple copy and paste and put it into the right box. And then you will, when you finish and click submit, it will appear. And just like we said earlier before, it's really flexible to use. You don't have to just use the name. You can rename it. It depends on what it's used for, like the law library and also the career services. And it's really good that you can use spreadsheet or any WordPerfect or word processing documents or PowerPoint presentations. And then if you link it to a PowerPoint presentation, you have to have the student or whoever's open it up has to have the program installed so that it will open it up. And here's the schedule, syllabus, and assignment page. In version 4, that's going to change it just for a month only, like the calendar. When you have stuff in the calendar, it will be, the student can click on it and take them to the class, and they can do quizzes or this class assignment and everything else that you can think of for that day. And this is not in the web course in the box. It's another one, syllabi, that we created from the web page. And in our law library page, we set up a link for informal OLAP 7 user group, and it's for invitations only. So whoever needs to access that page, they have to put in their username and password. When they put in their password and stuff, they can go back later on, go to the page, and go to the help and utility and change their password if they want to. And this is Professor Hedemeyer. She's teaching civil procedure, and she's using virtual classroom. And then from the page, we just link from her biographical web page and to that civil procedure page that she created in Web Course in the Box. And this is the discussions forum, and you can create links from that page, which is a link page, learning links page. And then when you come to the forum builder, you can select a forum or create a brand new forum. And when you create the brand new forum, you just click on brand new forum and hit on submit, and then get into the forum page and start customize your class forum. You can limit access to specific class members, or put this forum on the learning links page, quote the text, subject line, and use timestamp, so that whenever someone posted a message, it shows up the time and when they post the message.
This is Professor Kenderdine, and she created her own page with the discussion forum, the after hours lounge, and she laid out her rules. And you can create more than one discussion forum for your class. They're threaded, but if you wanted to make distinctions, you could create more than one forum. And you can restrict access to the forums even within your class. Like you have all the plaintiff's briefs in one discussion forum and all the defendants in another discussion forum, or anything like that you wanted to do. This is just another forum, and this is for Professor Hedemeyer. This is it's some of Professor Hedemeyer's messages, and you can just click on that, and you can read the message, and then you can click on post message to respond to it. If you have quite a bit and you want to keep it, you can put it in the archives. And you have your choice of whether you want a date time stamp or not, but we thought that was good. There's also an administration that you can reach from the side menu over there. You can delete an entire forum, or you can delete message by message, or you can delete in other ways. We'll look at the next screen. You delete message by message here, so that way you don't make any mistakes. Harder to make mistakes. And you can remove message, or if you don't like what you chose the first time, you just hit reset and then blank that again, and you can start over. You can clone or copy classes too. To some extent, I did that the first time I used it, just so I could experiment, but not experiment on Professor Hedemeyer's page, not on the production model. One thing you can't clone, though, you can't clone the discussion messages, because oftentimes you'll want to clone a class if another professor is teaching the same subject and they'd like to use sort of the same setup. Then you can just clone it and they can rename it. You can make as many links to other pages or other formats as you want to. You just type in the number. They have that nice help button there, and it gives you help in context, and it's really very easy to use. And you can add comments and instructions for your links. You can also upload files. If you upload them and you save them as HTML, then they can just read them through their browsers. While if you upload something in Word, then they have to have Word on their computer in order to read it. So it's easier if you, or you can upload it in ASCII and the program will take care of everything. This one I was uploading was a newsletter for November for our library group. You can put in your links here, and we did links to other websites that were using the same library program that we were, because we're the only one in North America. It's an academic library that's using it. So we wanted to talk to the people in Lebanon. Sylvia did this, and it's new this spring semester. She put up the grades, and this isn't in the web course in a box. It's something that we link to, so you can mix up how you do it. And you put in the password, and then it says, hopefully, come right in. You can also, what LEXIS paid for was the customization so that you can link to a particular place in LEXIS, like a statute or a case, and then you click on it and you will go right to it. And it will ask for your LEXIS ID and your password, just like it normally would, so it's just the same as using it in any other context. And here we went to the first one, which was an Oklahoma statute pertinent to the elder law class that she's teaching. They also have a quiz section. I don't think I would use it for an exam, but if you have a professor that gives tests during the semester or homework, even type things like that during the semester, it's good for that type of thing. Right now, it does multiple choice, but they're going to add essay, and they're going to add true and false questions, and it will post the grades to the grade book.
The next one is the multiple choice. You put your question there, and then you write down all the answers that you can for the multiple choice. Going to the quiz builder. And faculty page. Use URL to connect to the law school faculty page written in HTML. And then when the professor is using the web course in the box virtual classroom, and then just again, it's a supplement for us. And this one is the web course in the box, professor creating their own biographical page. And again, the colors. And then they put in their name, their email address, their department, their positions, their address, their phone, voice, and the fax. If you have, this one is for the information categories. If the professor already have a research or teaching area that they have created in Word or WordPerfect, and they can easily just go and copy and paste into the right box and then submit it, and then it shows up in their virtual classroom page. Or the professor has projects or publications, they can put it there too. You don't have to put in everything, but later on, if you have something going on, you can just edit it. And here's your personal interest, all the web links. And you can create a graphic for yourself and then put it in. using the JPEG or the GIF format, which is recognized by the web. And this is the one that from the web course in the box again. And this is the biographical page using the HTML that from the law school page. So adding the headers for the law school and the law library and the Costa and the Saki's building from the law school and the law library. And this is another one that you can create the special teachings and stuff like that in the HTML page, or just linking a link to your web course in the box. And right now, they don't use counter, and hopefully they can do it in version 4, so that you can easily track who is coming into your page and how long they spend on doing pages. And then, or maybe some of your colleagues from other university have visited your page. But they do have a sign in and sign on options. But most of the time when students come and sign in, they don't sign off. So it's harder to track that way, and it's not that accurate. And they have some FAQs, frequent asked questions, that help the instructor and student guides and class demo throughout the pages. And web course in the box have their own discussion forums. It has the instructor forums. Because we are using the web course in the box hosting server, so everything that they created, we can use it right away. It has several other platforms like Unix, NT, and Mac platforms. And when they update the version to version 4, they have to go back and update the versions on their NT or their Unix and the Mac page. And this is really helpful for those people that have problems. And whenever you have problems, you just post it to the forum, and then maybe later on, you come back and check on the forum. There's your answer. And here's some thoughts on why we're using web course in the box. And as you see, it's really easy to use. Everything is form-based. You just type in your information, and then hit the submit, and it's up on the web, real quick. And then if you do have knowledge of HTML, it's nice also, so you can mix and match. And then we're currently not using any quizzes, but maybe later on we'll do that. There's no chat or no audio. If you have a WAV file or anything else like that, you can put it in there too to make it more fun and easy to use. Hopefully they can create the counter in version 4. We can better track the students. LEXIS is not paying any whiteboard or chat, but one of our professors would like to do that, and hopefully more and more people is going to request to them if they think that is nice for them to use, and LEXIS will probably think about putting that features in. Although web course in the box, has already have the features on doing that. And that's all. We would like to invite you to have some questions and comments. And
I wanted to know, when you're producing these pages, is there any shared borders? Like, I guess you have a page right now. We could produce all of our faculty and work. At my law school, consistency is very important. There are very stringent rules regarding style. Anything that the outside world might see needs to maintain a certain image. Are you able to, in other words, put that Morton University logo on every page throughout all of the discussion groups, forums, and all of the pieces?
Yeah, you don't have to use their boxes or the pictures. There's options in there that you can just add in your own header.
No, I understood that, but in other words, for instance, with the front page setup, which is what I'm familiar with,
yes.
A shared border would put that same picture on every page with just doing it once. In other words, you wouldn't have to go into each one and select that option, because the professor might have 10 different pages. Can you make that image appear on every page that that professor has by doing it once?
No.
No, you
Do you
can't
have
right now.
consistency problems at all? Have you had any issues where the pages maybe look so varyingly different that?
We try to keep the same colors, like we're using a white background and we're using a blue and red motif right now. So we try to keep to the same colors. And as Sylvia said, you can also add up your own, put up your own icons. So that, to that extent, we try to conform. Also, they've limited the levels at which you have to conform. So the top 3 levels, you have to use their design. And as they set guidelines, we will, follow them.
Any more questions?
Do I assume that your students are all so computer literate that they're expected to be able to access this information via their own computers or through some sort of facility in the law school?
They can use the lab in the law school. Of course, they can use it from home. And we also have the professor tell them that if they need any help, they can go to the lab or they can go to Sylvia or I for the one-on-one help.
Yeah, but right now it's kind of hard for not just the professor to use it or the student to use it, but maybe you probably want to make it part of your course so that the student has to come and visit once. But if they have come and visit once and they say, wow, this is so easy to use, and they'll take the advantage of using it. And they can even put in their portfolio.
The faculty member will establish as one of these pages has to demand that the students are using it. If the students don't use it, it's not particularly. The faculty member says, I'm going to post any notices or assignments, or I'm going to do all this way. The student better be accessing that page, and they have to be told that.
Yes.
It helps a lot if you make it a requirement, because it seems to be like the first time they use it, that's when the impediment is. And once they've done it and found out that it really is easy, it's not hard. And also if you post things that they want to know, like they have to get their next assignment from the web page. Yes?
The West people make, I gather, a
Competing projects?
yes. How does that? You pick one over the other. How does that compare, in your opinion, between the two?
Well, our opinion is that this seems to be easier for the professor and the students to use, because there were a lot of problems logging into Twin, and
They don't
it's
know
a
which.
little harder to set up.
Yeah, at the beginning when Twin just came out, professors say, well, it's a nice idea, and then some of the professors wanted to create their page, and they did. And then when students come in and try to use it, it's kind of confused. They have 2 different types of password and 2 different types of username. A password is, one is their Westlaw password, and the other one is the course password. So it's making the student confused, and then, we start not using Twins anymore, but some of them still do. But when LEXIS Virtual Classroom comes out, and when we use it, it doesn't make that kind of, confusions for the students. So that's why we pick it and use it. And not just to the courses page, and just like we did the library page, and also some other universities using it for the career services page. So
You can have the choice with this product of not establishing a password, which makes it a lot easier for the students when they first begin to use it, because they don't have to use a password. And with Twin, they were getting mixed up, as she says, between their Westlaw password and their password to get into Twin. Of course, they could make them the same, which is what our Westlaw rep did. And I think as time progresses, they'll each, as they are very competitive, get the same good features.
You also have the option of putting this one on your server, right? Right now,
Yes,
you're
you
using
do.
There, but something with Twin, you have to use West's server.
From what I've heard, though, on Technoids, if you put it on your server, then you have to pay, because you have to pay for the server software. So that's a few $1,000 For us, having it on their server is good because we sometimes have some firewall issues.
And have you experienced much downtime with LEXIS since you've been using it? Is the server up all the time, or do you have a lot of downtime?
Every once in a while there'll be a problem, but if you try it like an hour later or something, you can get in fine. We haven't experienced, big problems.
Yeah, you can use Netscape, you can use Internet Explorer as long as it's the higher versions of the program, and the security have to set right, just like she said on the firewall, and you want to make them to accept all the cookies because of the JavaScript and everything else. It wants you to accept the cookies, and then just really nice to use.
One thing we wanted is something that the professors could do themselves, and that was easy enough that they would like using it, and then if they wanted to progress, or if they did want to learn like the HTML, they could start using that too.
When you put your links, you were talking about these hot links, whatever, to the, if you pick, for example, a case you wanted to, is it possible to edit the case before you put it on this link so that they don't have to read through, all the stuff that really doesn't apply to your situation?
Well, you could, if you wanted, yes, you could do that, but you'd probably do it a different way. You would take the case, you would kind of copy the case, delete the stuff that you didn't want, maybe save it in Word as HTML. Well, actually, I like WordPerfect better on its HTML. Save it as HTML, and then copy it into
create your own database of edited cases and edited statutes.
Yeah, you could do that.
There's
You just
a
have
file,
to
I
delete.
use that actually. In my reading assignments for my class, about a third of the assignments are things that are not in the casebook. And what I've done now is I copy the cases, I edit them, I edit out all the parts I don't want them to read. And then there's a file uploader, and I just upload it that way and then do
Yeah.
it.
And link to that, yeah.
It's once you learn how to do it, it's real fast. And real
It
easy.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I discovered that last year, but it really made it easy.
And we have we have evening students too, so having the web page is a convenience for them because they can access it when it's convenient for them, and they can look at their grades and things when they're at home or on their lunch hour or whatever. I think it makes things easier.
Any more questions or comments?
I don't think so. I just wondered if you said this, I was a little bit late coming in, what is the library's role in this effort?
Well, the
I
library,
mean, how does the library staff fit into this?
the library actually handles the technology for the law school and the library, and I think that's because we started using technology first. We started getting the CD-ROMs in and putting and using discs, and discs come with some of the books now, and CD-ROMs come with some of the books. And we're also open from 7:30 in the morning till 11 at night. So if something goes wrong, there's somebody there. And the computer lab is in the library. And then we have a little small, we have a few older computers over in the law school part, but that's mostly used for email.
That's how the library roles comes into technical support and everything else for the faculty, for the students.
And that's the reason we hired Sylvia, because she's our computer science major, and she's taking classes in computer science for her master's right now.
Unless there's a firewall problem or the network problem, and then I contact the IT department on the main campus. But it doesn't